Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're diving into a career path that's been generating a lot of buzz lately, becoming a water conservation technician.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting field, especially now with, water conservation becoming more and more important.
Absolutely. We've got this awesome career guide from RoleCatcher, and honestly, I was blown away by how much this job actually entails. It's way more than just like fixing leaky faucets.
Right. It's not just about the plumbing, it's about like the bigger picture, creating solutions for a sustainable water future.
So let's get down to it. What does a water conservation technician actually do on a daily basis?
Well, the guide uses this phrase, ensuring efficient utilization of available water resources.
Okay, sounds a bit formal.
Yeah, it's a mouthful, but it basically means making sure we're using water responsibly, squeezing every last drop.
Gotcha. So less talk, more action.
Yeah.
How do they actually do that? I saw something in the guide about analyzing water quality.
Oh, yeah, that's a huge part of the job. Think of it like this. Let's say there's a potential contamination issue in a neighborhood.
Uh-oh, not good.
Right. So the water conservation technician would be the one going out there, collecting water samples, running tests, using all this high-tech equipment.
Like water detective.
Exactly. They have to figure out what's causing the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a leaky pipe, agricultural runoff, something else entirely? They're like investigators.
That's pretty cool. So it's not just about fixing things. It's about understanding the science behind water, how everything's connected.
Totally. And that's actually a perfect segue to the next point. The guide emphasizes how important it is for these technicians to be able to work with, like building designs, making sure everything integrates seamlessly.
Seamless integration, huh?
Yeah, so let's say a new office building is going up.
Okay.
The water conservation technician would be working directly with the architects, the engineers, everyone to make sure the water system is both efficient and environmentally friendly.
So what kind of stuff are we talking about here?
We're talking rainwater harvesting systems, low flow fixtures, maybe even gray water recycling for things like irrigation.
Gray water recycling. Hold on, what's that?
Oh, right. Gray water is basically water that's been used gently. Think showers, sinks, laundry.
Okay.
Instead of sending it down the drain, they can actually capture it, treat it, and reuse it to water plants. Saves a ton of fresh water.
Wow, that's actually really cool. So we're not just talking about a technical job here. It's also about being environmentally conscious.
100%. And that's just scratching the surface of what water conservation technicians do.
So it's clear this job involves a ton of different skills.
It's definitely multifaceted.
But let's shift gears a bit and talk about you, the listener. Is this the right career for you? The RoleCatcher Guide is great about laying out both the good and the bad. What are some of the major pros and cons we should highlight?
Well, I think a big plus for a lot of people is going to be the impact, the environmental aspect. Knowing you're directly contributing to a more sustainable future, it's pretty huge.
Absolutely. And job security is always a factor when considering a career path.
Right, and this guide actually emphasizes that water scarcity is becoming a bigger and bigger issue globally. So the demand for skilled water conservation technicians only going up. That equals job security, which is like a huge weight off your shoulders, right?
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
But the guide doesn't sugarcoat it. This is physically demanding work, too,
Yeah,
right?
there's no getting around that. You're going to be spending a lot of time outdoors and not always in the most ideal conditions. Think extreme heat, cold, maybe even some cramped spaces.
Not for the faint of heart.
Definitely not. Plus, you're dealing with water systems, which means potential exposure to hazardous materials.
Right, safety first.
Always. So you need to be comfortable with those aspects of the job, too. It's not just about loving the environment. It's about being prepared for the physical realities.
And speaking of realities, the guide mentions that job prospects can really vary from one place to another.
Oh, absolutely. Location, 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 right? It's crucial to do your research, see what the demand is like in your specific region. Urban areas that are really big on sustainability, places dealing with water shortages, those are going to be your hotspots.
So listeners, factor that in. But let's say you're all in on this, passionate about water conservation, ready for the challenges. How do you actually break into this field? What are the first steps?
Well, the guide really stresses the importance of hands-on experience and getting it early on. Look for internships at places like water conservation organizations, environmental agencies, even plumbing companies.
Even if it's not your dream job right away, that experience is invaluable.
Exactly. Even an entry-level position can teach you a lot about installing and maintaining those water systems we've been talking about.
It's about getting your foot in the door.
Hmm.
So you start at the bottom and work your way up. What does that career trajectory look like? The guide actually breaks it down pretty nicely, starting with entry level, going all the way up to senior technician.
And it's actually really interesting to see how the responsibilities change as you gain more experience. An entry-level technician might be assisting with basic installations, simple maintenance tasks, but
Hmm.
a senior technician,
They're calling the shots.
pretty much, they're overseeing these huge projects, coming up with innovative solutions for water conservation, analyzing water quality data.
They've really worked their way up. The guide actually gives an example profile of someone who reached that senior technician level, and their journey is like the definition of impressive. They're working with government agencies, big organizations, everyone trying to promote water conservation.
It really shows you how this role becomes so much more than just the technical stuff. It's about being an advocate, a problem solver, having a real voice in how your community uses water.
It's amazing how just one person in this line of work can make such a difference.
Totally. And remember how we were talking about how important continuous learning is in this field? This is where RoleCatcher goes above and beyond, you
For
know.
sure. It's not just about getting the job, it's about crushing it once you're there.
Exactly. And one thing that really stood out to me in this guide was the emphasis on interview skills.
Yeah, you wouldn't necessarily think that would be such a big deal in a hands-on field like this.
Right. But it makes sense when you think about it. They want to know you can communicate effectively, explain those technical concepts.
Absolutely. And that's where RoleCatcher's interview prep section comes in. This thing is seriously cool.
It's a game changer. They've got this massive database of interview questions, and get this, they're specifically designed for water conservation technician roles.
No way. So you know exactly what to expect.
Exactly. It's like having a cheat sheet for your interview. You can see what employers are asking, practice your answers, really nail that first impression.
That's huge. And then it gets even better because RoleCatcher takes it a step further with the AI stuff, the Copilot AI feature.
Oh, yeah, that's where the real magic happens. Tell me you've used this thing.
It's insane. You basically record yourself doing a mock interview.
Okay.
And then the AI analyzes everything, your delivery, what you're saying, even your body language. It's like having a personal coach in your pocket.
That's wild. And it actually gives you feedback.
Oh, yeah. You get personalized tips on how to improve. It's amazing. And the best part is, this is just one piece of what RoleCatcher offers. They've got resources for everything, job searching, navigating the job market algorithm, even staying updated on the latest trends.
It's like having a secret weapon in your back pocket. I mean, it gives
Running.
you everything you need to not only land a job, but to really thrive in this field.
Exactly. So as we wrap up this deep dive, there's one final thought I want to leave you with. The RoleCatcher Guide does an incredible job breaking down all the technical stuff, the skills, the knowledge, but it's important to remember the human side of this too.
Oh, for sure. It's not just about pipes and systems.
Right. As a water conservation technician, you're not just building things, you're advocating for a mindset shift, helping people understand the true value of water.
It's like being an ambassador for this precious resource.
Exactly. So as you embark on this journey, think about how you can inspire others, how you can make a difference, not just in the physical world, but in the way people think about water. Use those amazing resources from platforms like RoleCatcher to equip yourself and go out there and make a splash. That's it for today's deep dive. Catch you next time.